Hi everybody, welcome back. Thursday, going to start back on Ezekiel where we left off on Tuesday, and Wednesday we did a little kind of a break. But today we're going to go back on into the Millennium. Hi Mind for Knowledge. At this point, it's going to be a lot easier for you. I wrote it in the description. I don't know if you can see it. I don't have access to that here. Hi Kim. If you have a companion Bible, go back into the appendix on 88. If you don't, do a search on eternallyblessed.org, and then you'll see the search engine and just type in appendix. It'll take you over to the appendixes to the companion Bible. Then it'll have overview, article, details, related subject, meet the author, and view download. Click on download, view download, and that's going to take the PDF up, and it'll be like you have the companion Bible appendix. So it's just like mine that I have in my book. But that will show you what we're going to be reading about. This kind of study is really for a classroom. Hi Deb. It is really rainy and cold today, and it's cold. Anyway, so what you're gonna have to do is look at that while we read, because it's, unless you just want to hear it, but it's really hard to imagine all this. So I don't know. Can you guys see what I had typed out in the description? Hi, Jim. I just kind of want to wait if you guys want to go over there. I don't know if you have a companion Bible. If you do, it's in 88, the appendix 88. You have one, Kim? Okay. It's 95 here. Okay. All right. Well, on here, it's on the computer. I was going more off my computer screen to try to help you guys. What is this? Hi, Stacy. Anyway, just let this flow. I know there's just a lot of dimensions and things like that, but it's just, look at the chart as we read along. Hi, Mary. And, this also in the appendix really breaks it down for you. So you can do your own studies on this and really find out. Hi, JD. It's just, at this point, we're just skimming the surface. So, no big deal. It just gives you an idea of what's in here. Cat hair. My cat is shutting. Shutting. Ooh. I gotta get it set up here. Go. And here we go. Everybody's ready. We're going to Ezekiel chapter 40. And like the first 3 chapters in here is more of the dimensions and things like that, but they do have some other things in it, so it's worth reading over and seeing what's in it. So here we go. All right, first one. In the 5 and 20th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that, the city was smitten, In the selfsame day the hand of the Lord was upon me, and brought me thither. In the visions of God brought he me into the land of Israel. And this is a rat. This is the terrain. Okay? And set me upon a very high mountain, most likely it's Zion, by which was as the frame of a city on the south. And that would have been there at that time. And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hand, and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. So remember back in Revelation, we saw the angel who was taking out the measuring rod to measure for the city. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall show thee. For to the intent that I might show them unto thee art thou brought hither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Israel. So he's like telling them, write this down, show the people. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house. So this is the house itself that we're going through right now. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by a cubit and a hand breadth. So he measured the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. So 1 reed is 10 feet, and a cubit is about 18 to 20 inches. So just so you can kind of see it in your mind. Then he came unto the gate which looked toward the east. Now the east is where Christ will be coming, and the doors will be locked. Nobody else can come or go from there. But that's also the scene of the Mount Olives. Okay, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. So it was about 10 feet broad, and the other threshold of the gate was about 1 feet broad. 1 reed, sorry. And every little, okay, so this is from verse 5 to 43, these are the enclosures. And then from 44 to 46, the priest rooms, and there are the different priests. Remember the Zadok and the 144,000. And then the court in verse 47. So it's going to be talking about kind of everything in that area. Okay, and every little chamber was 1 reed long. So it was about 10 feet long and 1 reed broad, and between the little chambers were 5 cubits. So there was space between there. And the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within, which is toward the house, was 1 reed. See what I mean? This one, you really have to sit down and look at it, because it's to try to envision this is just too hard, and for me to try to show you. That's why you'll need to just go in and look it over. He measured also the porch of the gate within 1 reed. Now, that right there, they say it's like a human error that verse 8 shouldn't be in there. So, like a copy. Hi, Roxanne. Hi, Album. Okay, verse 9. Then measured he the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was inward. So it's inward, not outward. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on this side and 3 on that side. They were of 1 measure, and the post had 1 measure on this side and on the other. Yeah, this is really, it's kind of hard to kind of explain this while I can't stream it. Otherwise, I would stream the show if I could. Oh. I don't know. Is this getting too confusing for you, or is this okay? Do you want me to just read it? I don't want to like get you all confused. I can. I don't know. I'll just keep reading it because it's got some goodies in here. Okay, and he measured the breadth of the entry of the gate, 10 cubits, and the length of the gate, 13 cubits. And that diagram that you see is really good. It really brings it into depth. Hi, Oystein. It's just, yeah. Okay, 12. The space also before the little chambers was 1 cubit on this side, and the space was 1 cubit on that side, and the little chambers were 6 cubits on this side and 6 cubits on that side. So, like this. One side, the other side. He measured then the gate of the roof of one little chamber to the roof of another. The breadth was 5 and 24 cubics, door against door. So let's see if we can narrow this down. So that's basically the entrance when you walk in. Let's see, and he made also post of 60 cubits, even unto the post of the court round about the gate. And yeah, this is really hard to do this because I can't really point it out. Shoot. Yeah, I don't know how well this study will go today, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm sorry. It's just really hard to do this without streaming. Because then I can like put it right there and use a little pointer and show you. And from the face of the gate of the entrance unto the face of the porch of the inner gate were 50 cubits. So, and there were narrow windows. So just imagine this in this chamber area. Narrow windows to the little chambers and to their post within the gate round about. So they had windows all around, little narrow ones, not the big arched ones that I was telling you about before. And likewise to the arches, and the windows were round about inward, and upon each post were the palm trees. So I told you there's going to be a lot of palm trees in there, and this is in the inner part of in the inner. This is the house itself. So alongside there, you're going to see all these palm trees lined up. You'll also see it on the porch. There's like one palm tree on either side, so you're gonna see it though. I wish I could draw. I would actually draw it for you. Then brought he me unto the outward court, and lo, there were chambers and pavement that's just rock. So I don't think they'll be using concrete. It's just the way that it is smooth though. Made for the court round about, 30 chambers were upon the pavement. So there are 30 chambers along the way. And the pavement by the side of the gates, over against the length of the gates, was the lower pavement. And we'll go through also the steps and entering in, and because that's really important to understand. But just kind of just think about this for right now. It gets better. It's just talking about the dimensions. Then he measured the breadth from the forefront of the lower gate unto the forefront of the inner court, so it's in the inner court, without 100 cubits eastward and northward. So and east and north. So east is the direction of Christ, of where he can come into. The north is where the oblations come into from the tribes and also from the nations. In the gate of the outward court that looked toward the north, he measured the length thereof and the breadth thereof. And the little chambers thereof were on this side, and 3 on that side, and the posts thereof and the arches thereof were after the measure of the first gate. The length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth 25. So that's the north gate right there. And their windows and their arches and their palm trees were after the measure of the gate that looked toward the east. So it's the same dimensions. And they went up into by 7 steps. Now if you have your chart, you'll see the 7 steps and then the 8 steps, and that's so you'll know more where we're at in the temple. So let me see. So on the outer court is 8 steps, but when you go into the temple itself, it's 7 steps on all sides. It's just, you need to know that. Just put it on the back burner. And the arches thereof were before them. So you got the arches and you walk through. And the gate of the inner court was over against the gate toward the north and toward the east, and he measured from gate to gate 100 cubits. So we're going to the south now. After that, he brought me toward the south, and behold, a gate toward the south. And he measured the posts thereof and the arches thereof according to the measures. And there were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about like those windows. The length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 25 cubits. So also wanted to let you know that this temple is 1/7 longer, bigger than what Solomon's temple was. So it'll make it 8. Okay, so it's like new beginnings with this new millennial temple. So it's only 1/7 bigger, which is kind of interesting. And there were 7 steps to go up to it, and the arches thereof were before them, and it had palm trees, and it was beautiful. One on this side and one on the other of that side upon the posts thereof. So as you enter in, there's going to be a palm tree on this side and a palm tree on that side, and you'll enter into the south gate. And there was a gate in the inner court towards the south, and he measured from gate to gate toward the south 100 cubits. And he brought me to the inner court by the south gate. So you're walking in now, and you're going to be going into the temple area. And he measured the south gate according to these measures. And these are the chambers, okay? And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures. There were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about. So they had the little windows on top, and then they had arches for the doors. It was 50 cubits long and 20 cubits broad. So everything is measured exactly, and these chambers are all the same, but just on north, south, east, you know. And the arches round about were 25 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. So those are pretty big. You're walking through something huge, you know. It is beautiful in there. And the arches thereof were toward the outer court, so the outer court. And palm trees were upon the posts thereof. So you've got more of the palm trees, you know, as you walk through. And the going up to it had 8 steps. So this is the outer court. Outer court as you're walking in. That has the 8 steps. As you're going into the inner court, that has the 7 steps. You just got to just look over that because, oh, good. Justine, I'm glad you like these. Hi, Daniel. It's just, I know it's new and I know it just feels like it's overwhelming, but just check out that diagram, and there's even more as you get down below. All right, and he brought me into the inner court toward the east. This is where Christ is. And he measured the gate according to these measures, and the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof were according to these measures, and they were windows therein, and in the arches thereof round about. It was 50 cubits long and 25 cubits abroad. So they're all basically the same, but they're, you know, just kind of pointing out where everything is. And the arches thereof were toward the outward court, and the palm trees were upon the posts thereof on this side and on that side. And the going up, it had 8 steps. So this is like going out and going in. At that point, as you go in, you're going to step up 8 steps, and as you go into the inner court, it's the 7 steps, meaning spiritual completeness in the millennium. It is according to everybody who's going to be tested. It is spiritual completeness because we still need the temple at that point. People still need to be taught. So, but as you come into it, it is a new beginnings because this is a different dimension. We're in a different dimension. The old things have gone away except for people themselves, you know, they'll all be in spiritual bodies. Animals will be in spiritual bodies. So it's totally new. We'll be in Israel, as it pointed out, and it's gonna look a lot different. It'll go in it a little further, but just to kind of give you an idea. Okay, and he brought me to the north gate. And the north is where people come in for, you know, the oblation to receive for the sacrifices. And he brought me to the north gate and measured it according to these measures, the little chambers thereof, the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, and the windows to it round about, going all around. The length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 25 cubits. And the posts thereof were toward the outer court, the outer court, and palm trees were upon the posts thereof on this side and on that side. And going up to it had 8 steps. So people are going to have to walk up those 8 steps to get into the court, but then get into the inner court. You're going to have to do the 7, but not everybody can go in there. And the chambers of the entries thereof were by the post of the gate where they washed the burnt offering. See, this is the north gate. This is where everybody comes in and you know, gives their sacrifices. Now, as far as sacrifices for the millennium, and this is what confuses me, what are the sacrifices except for your work? Because you know, the sacrifice itself has been done away with. And this was written in Ezekiel's time, so I think he was shown, like a lot of this to us is symbology now. Christ became our sacrificial lamb, so it's like, is it love offerings? I think that's more of the case. Um, I didn't see flesh itself either. This is just a totally new dispensation. So, and in the porch of the gate were 2 tables on this side and 2 tables on that side to slay thereon the burnt offering and the sin offering and the trespass offering. So I guess we'll just find out when we get there. You know, I don't know what kind of, unless it's maybe more of a like a gathering at that point. Remember I was telling you about the feast and things like that that we'll have, and it also talks about like the Sabbath. So maybe like every Sabbath we meet there. Hi Elsa, and hi Mind for Knowledge. So we'll find out, I guess. And at the side without, as one goeth up to the entry of the north gate, were 2 tables, and on the other side, which was at the porch of the gate, were 2 tables. 4 tables were on this side, so 4 tables on this side, and 4 tables on that side, by the side of the gate. 8 tables were whereupon they slew their sacrifices. I don't know. It is a little weird, but what would be our sacrifices at that time? I don't know. And the 4 tables were of hewn stone. See, I saw these tables, and I saw the angel carrying it over to David. And it opened up the platter lid, gave him some, and he took it away. But that side was like completely, it was just dark, but I saw those stone type of tables. So I don't know. Haven't really figured that one out. The prayers, yeah. It'll be a different type of sacrifice because we won't even be in flesh bodies. So maybe our minds, our heart, our dedication, our loyalty. I would think everybody that is in the millennium at that time would have to go to these feasts in different types. I think there will be like a Sabbath every Saturday. It's to import discipline, and it'll go further into this, but because of the minds and the hearts of the people, they still have that type of nefesh, that training, and the Holy Spirit himself changes the spirit. So as you get more learned and stuff, you just become a better person. It changes you. So I think a lot of that will be going on. Okay, and the 4 tables were of hewn stone for the burnt offering, of a cubit and a half long, and a cubit and a half broad, and 1 cubit high, whereupon also they laid the instruments wherewith they slew the burnt offerings and the sacrifices. And within were hooks and hand rod fastened round about, and the tables was the flesh of the offering. So yeah, all right. Let's go to 44. And without the inner gate, so out the inner gate, were the chambers of the singers. Remember I told you about that. You have, oh shoot, I wish I had the diagram I could just show you. But if you're looking at it, you see the inner court, and then you walk out into the outer court. Let's say go to the south side. And you'll see those chambers on either side as you walk out. That's like where the musicians, not the musician, but the choir. And if you go down further, scroll down. I don't know what page it would be on for you, but just keep going down. It explains it a lot more, but it really shows where the 144,000 are kind of in this corner. But the Levites, the priests, the 144,000 will have their own allotted areas, and you'll see as we go on. This is just talking about the house itself. And without the inner gate were the chambers of the singers in the inner court, and was at the side of the north, and their prospect was toward the south. So the north gate, this is where people come in to bring their sacrifices. And maybe they sing when they come in. One at the side of the east gate, having the prospect of the north, so kind of facing each other. And when he said unto me, this chamber, whose prospect is toward the south, is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the house. So remember that. And the chambers whose prospect is toward the north is the priest, the keepers of the charge of the altar. So the 144,000, and then you have the 7,000. Remember I told you there's an area where the 7,000 change their clothes? There it is. These are the sons of Zadok among the sons of Levi, which come near to the Lord to minister unto him. So he measured the court 100 cubits long and 100 cubits broad, 4 square, and the altar that was before the house. And he brought me to the porch of the house. Remember the porch I was telling you about, and measured each post of the porch, 5 cubits on this side and 5 cubits on that side. And the breadth of the gate was 3 cubits on this side and 3 cubits on that. So it's kind of it's not real narrow, but it's not as big as the other areas are. It's kind of more of a narrow. The length of the porch was 20 cubits, and the breadth 11 cubits. And he brought me up by the steps whereby they went up to it, and there were pillars by the post on one side and another on that side. So tomorrow we will go over the temple itself. That is on 41. On 42 is the priest room. It goes more into the temple, the most holy place tomorrow. Tonight, just read over that diagram. Just look at it. There's also lots of information that goes along with that. And so you can kind of get an idea as we read through here. It just gets deeper and deeper, and a lot of it just goes into the sanctuary, goes into the, what the people will be doing, the city, just all sorts of things. And it is really heavy. I think this is why a lot of people don't really teach this, because it is heavy stuff. But we're not afraid. We are not afraid. We're going to do it. And if we make a mistake, we make a mistake, and we say, okay. Oh. I don't know why I took my glasses off. So, yeah, yesterday I said that I would go ahead and trees, flowers, sing when you walk by. I had heard, like I was about ready to go teach. It was like in the morning, but the days there are like mornings, afternoons, evening. It isn't like, that you have night there. So it was like that morning, the dew was out, it was beautiful. I went, I don't know which gate I walked out, but it was out to the outer court, onto the lawn area. I sat down. There's like these rocks that the 7,000 sit on. I sat on this white rock and I was just waiting for the people to come. And it's just, I forgot what I was even going to say. Today has been one of those days. Oh, the singing. And I was just waiting for him, and all of a sudden, I could hear it from a distance. And I turned around and looked, and I could see them singing. I think they were practicing. I don't know if they do that all the time, but it was beautiful. The grass is super green. It's just like, it's just manicured very well. I don't know if it even needs to be manicured. I think it just naturally is that way. It is like the garden. There's a lot of gardens around too. Like in the city area, there's like places for people to garden, and then there's like places for people to gathering. There's just, it's very intense. And but the good thing is everybody is together, and there's no war. There's nothing like that. It's peaceful, and you hear this beautiful music. I mean, it is so different, and you're in your spirit body. That's the thing. You don't wake up going, "Oh my gosh, I have a sore back," or you know what I mean? Like this flesh body gives you. There's lots of palm trees, and the dimensions are by like the Mediterranean Sea and kind of by the Indian Ocean. I mean, I was kind of reading up on, how far it actually spans out. And we'll kind of have water all around us except for on the east side. So we'll have the beaches. Think of that. We have palm trees. And I don't know if like the people and the tribes are able to like take vacations and stuff. I would hope so. I mean, it's 1,000 years. Come on, you know what I mean? In the millennium, what are the possible reasons for a person's death if there is no more disease? There isn't. The only death would be at the Great White Throne Judgment. Or if you just say, "Hey, I'm not going to come out of the Gulf. I refuse," because we were like reading that in Ezekiel 37 with the dry bones. If they aren't listening, they're not going to resurrect. So that would be the only reason why, that you chose not to listen, or you went with Satan's army. So, but there is no death during the millennium unless you go back into the Gulf and you say, "I don't want to do this." Question about our tribes that we belong to. If we are a mix of many, such as English, German, Irish, which tribe would we belong to? That's a good question. I don't know. That's why we're going to be fine-toothed, picked up, brought back. Only God really knows. I mean, we're all lost or scattered. Also, with the priest, they started doing this way back in the Old Testament because they didn't have enough people to help the priest. So they didn't have enough kids and things like that. So what they started to do to help the Levites and to be priests and things like that, they started taking out the firstborn of each child from each person to bring in these these children were brought in at a very early age. I think it was like around 6 or 7, and they were taught in the universities to work in the temple. So, even the priest line itself, I mean, like Aaron and Moses, they were all from the Levite priest line. But as far as the pure line and things like that, is there such a thing anymore? I doubt it. I really do. So I don't know how that is really going to work. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, how could that possibly, if they're going by bloodline, I don't know. Maybe it was kind of set up like this before. You know how the city of God is coming down in the eternity, and how it's set up to have, all the 12 tribes set up, and they have a floor. Maybe we were already set up that way. So God knows, I mean, regardless of our bloodline. Because I was thinking about that too, with like people who are of mixed race, and say they marry someone Irish, and then marry someone from Ethiopia, and they have a child. Where's that child gonna go? I don't know. I think we'll find it in the Bible somewhere. I just haven't found it. And I think I mean, God's already thought of this, so I don't know. And I wonder who the singers are. Who gets picked? Why did they get picked? So if one is good, then they'd live up to be 1,000 years. Well, one day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So your spirit isn't really going to age like it does with your flesh body. So it's gonna go pretty quickly too. So you don't age. I mean, your spirit body is completely different. So if one is good, So if one is good, I mean, you're gonna live up to that 1,000 years, and then you're gonna be tested. The people that need to be tested. So they could live up to 1,000 years, and if they make it, then they get into the eternity. If not, then they're going into the pit, the fire, be blotted out. What about tech? Will it get better and better, like super high tech? It's not really tech. It's more mind, spiritual, weird stuff. Like, I saw in my house, I know it could just be symbolic, but I saw it like a manual typewriter sitting on my desk, and I had all these files and books and stuff. So I don't know. I think there will be tech there, but it's a different dimension. And like when I saw people, it was like this bubble, like a bubble thing, like coming up to me, and then as they left, slowly they're like going out and slowly disappearing. I think it's more mind type. I want to go here, and you think and you get there. And I was talking in there, so we'll be using our voices. And as far as transportation, things like that, that was the biggest thing I saw, was that, you think of a place and you're like there. But I'm not certain about that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more ideas as we go through here. But it is an interesting topic but you have to think spiritual. I mean, right now everything is flesh and blood, and we're so limited. Our minds, we'll be using 100% of our minds. Plus, you'll be getting gifts from God. So, your abilities and stuff like that. I think the more learned you are, the better abilities that you have. Oh, I agree with the typewriter because I saw my late mother with an old kind. Like, she's working in an office. Yeah, there's like people will be working in the kingdom, doing all sorts of things. I mean, people aren't just sitting around. I mean, it's discipline, it's learning, it's just, it's hard to describe because we're in a different dimension and we ourselves are different. What we see now as work is going to be different there than it is here because our purpose here is just to be tested. Our purpose there is to move forward in our spirit body to prepare for the millennium. And those chambers that I saw up above the temple area where we go in, those that the 7,000 can go into are really strange too. Like, I've been really trying to find out what they are. But I think it's a way to get closer to God because the altar is right down below. So we're above it. It's not like on the first floor and then up there's 3 levels. I don't know. This is really heavy stuff. I wish I knew more, but this stuff is really heavy stuff. Where were all the people that already passed and overcame? Where are all the people that already passed and overcame? I believe that there's a gulf area right now. Those who have already made it, or those who are up with God right now, are Yeshua in paradise. You're either on the left side or on the right side. Those people that made it are coming down with Christ in that army. Those who didn't make it and those who get the chance, get the opportunity, they can come out of the Gulf area and come out and be mixed in with those that didn't overcome when Satan was here. So, but my question is, do these people that come down, are they helping to set up the millennium? What are they doing here? If they've already overcame, maybe they too have to be tested. I mean, they overcame. Obviously, they're up with Christ in paradise, but they weren't tested by Satan like how in tribulation, because Satan's going to be loosed one more time after the 1,000 years. So does anybody have any ideas about that? See, in heaven, does everybody get their own house and resident mansion? The 12 tribes will be set up, and what I saw were like inheritance, like family homes. So like if you, like with my mom, she was standing there alone, but I don't know why. If she she was an orphan herself. So I think, but she had her own place. But then I saw like my adopted mom, and my grandma was there, her, and but they lived in the same house. So I think it's an inheritance of family lineage. Who knows how far it goes back too. Let's see. I mean, during the 1,000 years, like what? Where are all the people that have already passed and overcome during the 1,000 years? Those who have already passed and overcome, well, there's like the 24 elders who don't have to come up. They'll be up with God in a different dimension. So those who do not need to be tested, except the 7,000, because they're the teachers. But like the 24 elders, and they'll just be up with God. They don't come down. Is that what you mean? Something like that? I mean, anybody who's overcome, like, to that point, unless they don't have any part in the millennium, I mean, they'll just be with God. They don't need that, you know. They're doing other things with God. They will be with us and be tested at the end, I assume. Yeah, those who are up there now coming down in the army, I think they are. I think they just join. And maybe they wait for those who didn't make it, like, but repented, come out of the Gulf at that time, and they meet up with their family then. But I do know it goes by family, so it's like a family house type thing. It'll be really interesting. But the tech thing, you know, would be really cool if we had, like, I saw Yeshua's, you know, his vehicle. I don't know if we get to go in those or not, because it's basically going into other dimensions with it. But what if we could? It was really cool. It was like, it looked like a crown. And the angel that was with him first walked in, and there's like a little door. There was windows all the way around. And there was a bench, and he went and sat down, and then I was talking to Yeshua, and he's like, be good, you know, do what you need to do, but be good and all that. He walks in, he opens up the door, and it's a little door. It only went up to like his waist, and he sat down, and then he started, like, looked like he was like punching buttons and stuff. And there was like this noise, this like whirling noise, and I was wondering where that came from. And the little pedestals that kept up the craft kind of lifted up, and as it lifted up, these wheels came down from below and started going around like this around the craft. And as it went faster, the light started shining until it got really bright, and then it just shot off. So, are we going to be able to have something like that? When I went up to Paradise, I didn't have anything like that. We just shot through. But I heard that weird noise, like, you know, it was a weird noise, and we shot off. So maybe we were, I just didn't know it, but I was hanging on to him. If we were in a vehicle, I would have known. Yeah, it was. When I saw that, I'm like, that is really close to it. Isn't that weird? I know that that the Catholic Church has really been keeping a lot of things from us. I mean, it even says in the Bible that they keep this information from us, and You know, I mean, I think that's why God showed me that. Why, look, this is, it's just his vehicle, and then you have Satan's little vehicles. Don't even compare. They crash all the time. Area 51, and they're always crashing. Let's see. So, yeah, it is heavy stuff, but this is the stuff. Can you recall Jesus' voice? He's got lots of different voices. Like when when I was sitting on his lap, he's like a father. I mean, he is like, you know, you just don't want to let him go. When he's mad at you, he is like commanding, and you know you're in trouble. He's like a voice, like a friendly voice, like a friend. He's all that wrapped in one, and his voice is soft but stern. Or it can be thundering loud, like you really did something wrong. Like when I drank the water and wasn't supposed to. And I think that's just the spirit within itself. It shows in different ways. I mean, depending on what you're doing. So, well, maybe like when we're teaching, we're going to have that statue. And when we're like just in our houses doing whatever, we have our normal. Do they change? I don't think so. I think they'll stay the same, but it is kind of a weird, kind of, just to think about. What about his scent? Do you smell him? I didn't smell him. I don't remember smelling him. Can you describe what Yeshua looks like? He looks different in different places. I asked what he looked like on earth, and he has like this blonde, kind of wavy hair that went down here, a beard that was kind of blonde, brown blonde, blue eyes. He had the statute of, you know what Jewish people look like, their body style. And he was muscular. Up in paradise, he has more of a bronze look. His hair is smoothed out. He has his beard is just very well trimmed. When I was like sitting down on his lap, he had like these bushy eyebrows and like kind of receding hairline. Or was it just a big, you know, like forehead? And his nose, it's like that of like a Jewish person. And the eyes on him, it's like a green, that green, blue, brown with flecks of gold. Very eye-popping, very like mesmerizing when you see that. I, for one, was like enchanted by them. Yeah, Aiken's painting, his eyes do look like that, but he looks a little bit different. No! That dog is on my last nerve. So, you know, once you see him, he looks different in different poses that he has to do. When he comes back in the army, I'm sure he's going to look a lot different than what he looks like, you know, everyday type thing. It's just the spirit is a lot different than the body. It can change. Like when I was telling you, when I was teaching, and that little kid just wanted to know more stuff, and I was like, all right, I'll teach you some more, and just boom, shot up. And I'm like, wow. It was sad because I really enjoyed him, but it was like, well, now you gotta go. So he went off. So we're pliable. Which makes me think, what really does our eternal bodies look like? Like, will those be pliable? And will we be able to go out different places in the universe? Help God create more things. I mean, it's eternity. I wouldn't think that we would just be there for eternity. I think that we do much more because it's eternal. And that concept always kind of like makes me feel weird because I've always known like a beginning and an end. But the days are weird too. It's just like every little detail, every little thing. I mean, it just, I don't know. All I could tell you is your spiritual body is a lot different in time itself. Goes very, very quickly. Like, I had seen all this stuff and it had been for like all night long, at least 8 hours. And I had seen so much, but only given a little tiny bit so that I could tell you. But during that whole time, I was being shown stuff. So there's a ton of stuff up there. Just, stuff that, was erased from my mind that you're going to be able to see. Everybody's going to be able to remember it. And, maybe that's all part of like our vacations or whatever. It'll be, being one of the 7,000, you'll have a lot of freedoms. And that will be very, very nice to have. And your house itself is built in what you like. My house is a Tudor. April's house is a Tudor style. Kim's house is kind of like the house that she has now, and it's like has a wraparound porch, and it's kind of a green color. And there's another house down below me that is one of my friends, Lisa's, and I met her, and just all, your style, even on the inside, everything that you like is in there. Your colors, furniture. I mean, it's really weird. A Tudor style is like there's big, they're kind of angular, and they have like the types of like the wood crossings down and across. You see that like in Holland and places like that, but the Tudor style, you'll just have to look up because it's hard to describe. But there's all different kinds of them, but they all have that wood coming down and on the side, and then like a painted area in the back. So Tudor. I like the wood. Yeah, I don't know. So guys, if you think of your dream house, it'll probably be the one that is yours in the millennium. I want a rock log cabin on a cliff overlooking a sea. I know. See, now listen very carefully, because everything that you see is yours, because your inheritance is your inheritance with God. So if you see a space by the sea and you want to build a cabin there, you can. Everything is yours. And even if you like walked into, say, one of the villages or the tribes, and you saw a house that you liked, legally you could take it, but you're not going to. But it's yours. Everything is yours. But you won't take it, honestly. God trusts you. There's no oppressors there. It's gonna be really cool. I wish we could all live in the same area when things get tough. I know, Deb, right? It's gonna be tough. All I can say is just remember your fellow and just pray for them. When it gets really tough, just know that everybody's going through the same kind of thing that you're going through. And you'll probably see one of us. Will our pets be in? Yep, our pets will be there. I saw Donkey, Sally the donkey. I saw my dogs. We had like these two little pug dogs. They were there. I give those to my twin sister when she gets out, and I give her a house. It's a really nice house. Building is a lot different. It's like you think, and it's done. Maybe that was symbolic. I don't know, but I help her out. You can help people out too. So yeah, we just have to, keep in touch with everybody, as we get closer. There's going to be, I think, about a month time until that planet crosses and stuff. There'll be a lot of teaching during that time, and, just kind of keep in touch with each other and just know we're all in the same boat. Yeah, I pray for everyone too, I pray before I come on so that your eyes are open, your ears are open, you can get this. And I think you guys are doing great, There is just, if you weren't one of the 7,000, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be able to understand these concepts and stuff. It really is the Holy Spirit, that grows your spirit. So, I feel very grateful that I am one of the 7,000. I feel very, very grateful. But, we did earn this. It isn't like God says, oh, I like you. So, we earned it. Everything that you get is earned. And it's fair. And it's just. So don't feel bad for being one of the 7,000 either. Because you earned it. You deserve it. I'm very worried about my country. Well, everybody's going into captivity. Every country. It's one world order. Hi, Roxanne. I don't know if I said hi to you. Yeah. Is there anyone else here that you saw or recognized? I think I saw Daniel, but I don't know what Daniel looks like. And maybe we went over that before. And the reason... Yeah. Okay. And the reason why I say it is because I don't know. I just have this. It seems like I have this connection with Daniel because it's like he is like super hungry like I was. But I saw this guy who was standing in line, dark brown hair, medium built. Okay. So the guy that I saw, his hair is like on the side. It's short, goes around like this. It's kind of puffy a little bit. And he's about 6 foot tall, a medium built, and that's all I remember, and white, of course, but that's all. I don't know. I think it is Daniel, though. I do. Because I have this connection with him. So, Daniel, when you're in line, if you're in line and you notice, like, someone is staring at you, it's me. I'll be like, hey, Daniel. And I told that to Kim, too. Look behind you. I don't know how far behind, but she's, like, way ahead of me. But, just look behind. because I am in back of you guys. So I just like jumping, hey! By the end of that, you know, it'll be nice to see a friendly face. It's just like, So guys, tomorrow we're going at it again, and we're going to have these talks at the end, so we're not all burnt out. We can have some fun and relax. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It's Friday. Gosh, that's sad because I love these studies. But I got my garden I got to get to. Oh my gosh. But good night, everybody. God bless, and we will talk tomorrow. Bye.